What is going on, college basketball fans? Today we got some bracketology with Dannyology, my personal updated bracketology that here in a couple days, my very next video that I'll upload on this channel will be me filling out my bracketology that I made right here all the way from the first round to the national championship for my updated March Madness predictions video. So that will be out very soon. So this video, I'm going to give you guys my bracket, like my updated bracketology, explain why I have each team where they're seated. And yeah, guys, I'm ready to get started. Subscribe for more college basketball content. Let's go. All right, so first off, we have our first two regions. Then I'll give you guys my other two regions after we go through this one. So first off, we have our top overall seed, and it kind of differentiates itself, if I can say words, from my power rankings, because as you guys know, in my power rankings, I've had UConn as my number one team for the past 3-4 weeks or so. But my number one overall seed is Purdue. I just feel like they have the better resume. I think they have more quad one wins. I just feel like Purdue had a more impressive non-con run overall than UConn. Now, I will say I think the Big East is a slightly better conference than the Big Ten. If you wanted to say UConn should be the number one overall seed, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It really doesn't matter because either way, I feel like Purdue would want to go to pick Detroit, the Midwest, and UConn would want to pick the East. So either way, they're both number one seeds. I have Purdue right now as my number one overall seed. Now, if they take another loss while UConn doesn't, that will 100% flip itself because it is very close. But Purdue, my number one seed, I have them going up against Eastern Kentucky or Norfolk State, some of the weaker 16 seeds that I feel like could come out of their leagues there. But yeah, Purdue, I feel like this could be a big year for them. I feel like the addition of Lance Jones through the offseason is going to be absolutely huge. If you watch their last game against Wisconsin, that was a great game, and Lance Jones was really taking over a lot during that offense. So I feel like, last year where it seemed like nobody could hit a shot, Mason Gillis, Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, none of them were hitting their threes, and they were just kind of leaving them open, saying, okay, if y'all are going to beat us, Fairleigh Dickinson, they said, if Purdue is going to beat us right now, they're going to have to hit their threes, and if they hit their threes, they'll blow us out, but if they don't, we have a chance. And I just feel like with Lance Jones, he has something in him, man. He has something in him that this Purdue team 100% needed. And I don't even think that he is the X factor anymore. Like at the beginning of the year, I was thinking he is the X factor for how far this team can go. I think he is clearly their second best player. I mean, you could argue Braden Smith, but I feel like Braden Smith is more inconsistent than a guy like Lance Jones. Lance Jones is not only a guy who can shot create and provide you some other offense other than Zach Edey, but he is a hustle player. He's going to draw charges. He's going to play defense. He can be a point guard off of the bench. Like if you want to give Braden Smith a seat, a rest for a little bit, I think Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, guys like that are more of X factors. Depending on how they play, depends on if Purdue can actually win it all. But yeah, 8 seed Oklahoma. Oklahoma's fallen off a little bit for me, but they play in a very tough conference. Of course, the best conference in college basketball, the Big 12. I still feel like they're comfortably in right now here at an 8 seed, and then at a 9 seed, they got a very tough matchup. Who I think is probably going to win the Missouri Valley Conference there in Indiana State. They have such a fun team. I really want to see this team in March. I feel like the Missouri Valley is only one bid league, though, so it could be them. It could be Drake. Who knows? We could get a bid steal out of that league. But right now, I feel like it could be Indiana State. Them and Drake split already this season, played each other twice. Won one, lost one, so it's really up in the air. I hope we get a third matchup between those two in the Missouri Valley Championship, but who knows? Right now, I'm going to go with Indiana State out of that league, and they're playing really well. They're getting all the way up to a 9 seed right now. That's really good for a mid-major. Number 5, we do have the Creighton Blue Jays. They dropped a seed for me after losing to the Providence Friars last night. What a game that was. Went to overtime. Devin Carter was such a beast. He's such a beast, man. But Creighton, they have a solid team. PC is a very hard place to play, but they did fall seed. I think I had them as a 4 seed before that loss last night. But they fell a little bit, but they're still comfortably in. 12 seed. My 12 seeds that I have in my bracketology are very, very, very dangerous, and I have Appalachian State might be the most dangerous one. Coming out of the Sun Belt, very solid team. It looked like James Madison was going to be a very solid team early on in the year. Well, Appalachian State swept them. 2-0 against James Madison this year. They got a good win over Auburn this year. So that goes to show you they can beat teams that are around that 5 seed range for sure. So definitely keep an eye out on Appalachian State. They're playing very, very good basketball right now on a big-time win streak. South Carolina, I have them up as a 4 seed. You could argue their strength of schedule is not the best, especially in the non-conference, of course. But the way they're playing right now with wins over Kentucky and Tennessee, they have a great record. I mean, come on. I'm putting them up there as a 4 seed, and I feel like it's a good spot for them. I feel like most bracketologies, I think Joe Lenardi has them as like a 5-6 seed right now. Other bracketologies are around there too. I'm putting them up as a 4 seed. I like them up there. I feel like they deserve it right now. And they keep winning. They keep winning right now. They're going to be up here as a 4. And they're going to go up against my winner of the MAC. Coming out of the MACtion, we do have Akron. I feel like it's going to be them or Toledo. Right now, it looks like Akron is the best team in that league. I'm going to roll with them here as a 13 seed. TCU as a 6. I like them here. I feel like TCU is one of those teams that could finish anywhere between, if they really play good, up to like a 4 or so. But they could go also all the way down to like a 10. Like, they're a very rangy team right now. I feel like 6 is a good spot for them. If you wanted to say maybe a 7, I'd probably be fine with that too. But I really like this team. They play in a very tough league. They're another team that I feel like, a lot of people are going to say, well, their non-con schedule isn't very good. I do take that into consideration. We're talking about back-to-back teams here, South Carolina and TCU, where they don't play the best non-con schedule, and that's why some other bracketologists might have them lower seeded. I do take that into consideration, but I'm also, I'm big on eye test. If you look very good, you're playing good, I'm going to still raise you higher, even though you might not have played the best competition in the non-con. I'm big on eye test over that. So I like TCU a lot. I like South Carolina. They deserve these spots right now. I think TCU should be a 6 seed. And they're going up against an 11-seeded Butler team that has really, really been heating up as of late. Absolutely killing it, beating teams in overtime. They just beat Creighton in overtime in Omaha. That is not an easy place to play at all. Butler's killing it. They passed up teams like St. John's, Xavier, Villanova, and they got themselves a bid here out the Big East here as the 11 seed. Number 3 seed in this region, we do have Auburn. They just beat Alabama last night, got revenge on them in the jungle, and that got them back up to a 3 seed. I think they were a 4 seed for me before that. I try to keep an idea of where I would have teams, and I think Auburn would be a 3 seed for me right now. Also, let me know how often you guys want me to do a bracketology update. Getting closer to March, so do you guys want to see these weekly? Let me know down below in the comment section. Our 14 seed going up against Auburn, we do have Cornell. Kind of predicting an upset with this one out of the Ivy League tournament. Having Cornell maybe upset Princeton like they did in the regular season to be able to win the Ivy League tournament and get themselves a bid here. If they do get a bid steal, I feel like a 14 seed would be perfect for them. 7 seed, we do have FAU. Actually just got finished watching them take a loss to UAB. Called that one. And I still have them locked in here as a 7 seed. If you wanted to argue maybe an 8 seed, I would probably be fine with that too. I feel like 7 is fine for him. I look at my 8 seeds. I think yeah, I'm fine with FAU being above them. But yeah, FAU here as a 7 seed. They still have really good wins over teams like Arizona. A tough loss to Illinois, which was a really good game. Like they are a very good team. I like them here as a 7 seed. And that would be a very good 7-10 matchup between them and Northwestern, who, it always feels like Northwestern is going up and down, similar to like DCU. But yeah, Northwestern has some really good guards. They always play tough. They have experience. That's going to be, a matchup that is full of experienced guards. And yeah, that would be a treat. I feel like a lot of my 7-10 and 8-9 matchups are just going to be amazing. Like, I need to see these 100%. But our 2 seed in this region is Kansas. I feel like this would be a good matchup, having Kansas and Purdue's region here. I feel like it makes sense right now. And yeah, Kansas coming in. Just took a loss to Kansas State on the road in a tough one. And yeah, I mean, the Big 12 is tough to play, especially on the road. And you can't knock Kansas too bad for losing a couple of road games. They also have a really good non-con resume, which definitely helps them keep them up here as a 2 seed. It's going to be hard to move them off that line unless they start losing crazy. But yeah, Kansas coming in here as a 2 seed right now, and they'd be going up against the mighty Penguins of Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown State getting themselves a bid into the tourney here as a 15 seed. Now we move on to our second region, the East region. We got the UConn Huskies, and UConn just playing out of their minds. I mean, how about that game by Cam Spencer the other night? Was a freaking beast. I mean, we know Caravan's like that. We know Donovan Klingen's like that. We know Tristan Newton's like that. They got Stephon Castle. And now Cam Spencer's showing potential to drop 30 points a game. I mean, what a replacement for Jordan Hawkins on this team as the shooter who can just run around, off ball, catch and shoot, and just drain it. And off dribble too. I mean, he's a beast. Exactly what they needed to replace Jordan Hawkins. And wow, this team is looking amazing. And they definitely have shown potential to me, like right now, heavily considering them as my national champion pick right now, and being the first back-to-back team since Florida back in 2007 and around that. So yeah, UConn looking amazing. 16 seed, we got Southern or St. Thomas coming out of their leagues, getting an opportunity to play here in March Madness. 8 seed, we got the Clemson Tigers. Haven't played too good in ACC play, but they're one of those teams that you look at their non-con, and they played great during the non-con, and if they can pick up some wins in ACC play, start to pick it up a little bit, they could definitely climb a couple of seeds here too. So right now I got them sitting as an 8 seed. I feel like that's a good spot for them. And they'll be going up against 9-seeded Florida, a Florida team that I like a lot. I think is a sleeper team that I don't see a lot of people talking about. I really like this Florida team. I think they're a well-coached team, and that 8-9 matchup would go crazy. Like that, just you see a Clemson-Florida 8-9 matchup, and you're just thinking, yeah, that game might go to overtime. That game might have a buzzer beater. Like that is going down to the wire, no doubt about it. But our 5 seed in this region is BYU. I feel like BYU, I don't know why, I just feel like they are going to be a very vulnerable 5 seed if that is what they end up getting. I feel like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I just can't get behind this BYU team. I feel like they're not built. Maybe it's because they don't have experience on their team, something like that. I don't see them being able to go far in the tournament. I feel like if they are a 5 seed, they are primed to get upset. And here we got South Florida, which is interesting because South Florida, the Bulls, have been playing very, very good in the AAC conference. And you might be saying, well, you already talked about FAU out of that league. Well, in this scenario, I have South Florida winning the AAC championship tournament and FAU still getting in as an at-large bid. So that is kind of the situation I have going on there. But yeah, the South Florida Bulls, 12 seed, would be very fun to watch because they've been killing it in the American this year. 4 seed, we do have the Dayton Flyers, and yeah, I have them all the way up here as a 4 seed. If you want to put them down to maybe a 5, I'd be fine with that, but they are playing great. You know, they got the one loss in the A10 there to Richmond on the road. They got to go back to Richmond this weekend to play VCU. That's going to be a very fun matchup. Let's see if they can get out of that city with a win this time and not get upset again. But right now I have him sitting there as a 4 seed. Darren Holmes is one of the best players in college basketball. He is absolutely killing it. I really don't see many people talking about him really, like other than like the hardcore college basketball fans. Like I don't really see many people talking about Dayton, which is crazy. So yeah, we got them here as a 4 seed going up against 13 seed McNeese State. That is a very tough 13 seed. My 12 seeds and 13 seeds are pretty strong in this bracket. So, and that's what I like. You know, I want to make sure I get some really good mid-majors in my March Madness bracketologies that I make, because that makes for some great storylines, some great upsets. That's what I like to see. And my 12, 13 seeds are very, very strong. 6 seeded, we do have Kentucky. You know, they fell off a little bit, lost to South Carolina, they lost to Tennessee, they lost to, they're losing a couple of games. They're down here as a 6 seed now. Well, who else? We got Auburn above them. We got Alabama above them. South Carolina, Tennessee. So they're like my 5th SEC team, like as far as seeding. Yeah, Kentucky's got to get together. Their defense is their problem, man. They just don't have that great of a defense. They can score with you all day. But yeah, they definitely got to work on that D, man. They're going up against 11 seed Cincinnati. I really like this matchup because, you know, Kentucky, Cincinnati, very, very close. Not as close as like Louisville, Cincinnati, but Lexington, you know, still pretty close. It would be a very fun storyline there coming out of the first round. I would like it a lot. Cincinnati, I do have them in the tournament. I see a lot of people having them just on the outside. I like them in. I think they, you know, they didn't play a strong non-con, but they have a good record in the non-con. And they haven't been playing bad in the Big 12. You know, it's a very tough conference to play. You know, the road loss to West Virginia wasn't great, but West Virginia's a tough place to play. You know, even though they're having a bad season, like that's a tough place to play, man. And yeah, I have Cincinnati in right now. You know, who else lost in Morgantown this year? Kansas and Texas. Like, it's not an easy place to play. Let's not knock Cincinnati too much for that one. I think they're in right now here as an 11 seed. 3 seed, we do have Wisconsin in this region. That's a very tough 3 seed. I like AJ Storr a lot. I like their bigs a lot, you know. Wisconsin, they're like that. You know, they just took a couple of losses here this past week. They got to bounce back. They got to get it together. But yeah, Wisconsin is definitely a sleeper team. Look out for them. The Vermont Catamounts, man. It seems like they're in the tournament every single year. And when's finally going to be the year they can pull off the upset, right? Maybe it's this year, but we got them coming in out of their conference here as a 14 seed. As our 7 seed, we do have Virginia. I'm a little bit higher on Virginia than most people. I think, you know, they're on a big-time win streak. They're playing great. They're playing Tony Bennett basketball. They got some players stepping up. I like this Virginia team a lot. And don't look out for this team as a sleeper, you know. I have a little bit of a take where I think Virginia has potential to go really far this year in March Madness. They could be the new Syracuse, where Syracuse just come out of nowhere as an 11 seed and make the Final Four. Virginia could be like that. Like, yeah, they do not have Jim Boeheim's 2-3 defense, but Tony Bennett has been one of the best defensive coaches, you know, over the past so many years since he's been at Virginia. Like, he is a very good defensive coach, and if you get the right matchups, you play some great defense, you can win some tight games. Look out, man. I could see Virginia potentially going on a run, 100%. They'd be going up against Boise State here in the first round as our 10 seed. You know, the Mountain West is is stacked, man. And Boise coming in here as a 10 seed. Is that the first Mountain West team I'm talking about here? I think so. There's plenty more in the next couple regions, the last 2 regions here. Arizona is our 2 seed in this region. I feel like that feels right. UConn, Arizona. That would be a great matchup. Like if the 1-2 seed came to the Elite 8, UConn, Arizona would be amazing. Colgate is our 15 seed, a lot like Vermont. It seems like they're in the tournament every year coming out of their league. They're just a really good, well-coached team, and they're getting back into the big dance here this year. We got our next 2 regions coming up right here, and also our first 4 out. It's technically our first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams out. I just added a couple more in there so you guys can get an idea of a lot of teams that are in consideration or close to making my bracketology. But next up, we got our South region, which is our third 1 seed, which is the Houston Cougars. I'm going to go ahead and talk about our fourth 1 seed a tad bit before we break down all the teams here, and that is North Carolina. Highly, highly, highly considered Tennessee as my 1 seed in the West region, and that is just because UNC just lost again. Not only did they lose to Georgia Tech, but then they just lost again after beating Duke. So yeah, I bounce back and forth. I decided, head to head doesn't really matter in bracketologies, but North Carolina did get a win over Tennessee this year. I feel like North Carolina still deserves the 1 seed at this point. Now, if they take another loss, they're dropping to a 2 seed 100%. But right now, they're staying as a 1 seed for me. And I did put Tennessee as my top 2 seed in the same region as North Carolina. But back to Houston region, South region, and Dallas. Houston, I still feel like they're a number 1 seed. Great metrics right now. Great defense, one of the best defenses in college basketball. They have some scores, great backcourt, Jamal Shedd, LJ Cryer, great depth, Kelvin Sampson. We all know he's that guy. Yes, they went into Fall Allen and lost, but so doesn't everybody that goes into Fall Allen. So didn't UConn. It's a very tough place to play. Houston, number 1 seed right now. Morehead State coming out of their region. They don't have to play in the first 4, though. They're getting the 16 seed straight up. 8 seed in this region. We got Colorado State, our second Mountain West team here, making it into the tournament. I really like Isaiah Stevens. I really like how this team is being coached. They got some really good wins in the non-con over Colorado, over Creighton. The Mountain West is a really good conference as well, so they have more opportunities to get some quad 1 wins. I feel like 8 seed is pretty good for them. 9 seed, we got Michigan State. Michigan State, you could argue, could be a first team out right now. They are not a 100% lock, but they are a blue blood. They did have a lot of preseason hype, and that shouldn't matter, but, they're probably going to get in. I feel like a 9 seed would be fine. Tom Izzo does work really good as an underdog. I would be fine anywhere from 8 to 11 for Michigan State right now. I got them sitting here as a 9 seed. 5 seed, we do have Duke. Duke as a 5 seed is kind of scary. That's what they were last year. They ended up losing second round to Tennessee. But Duke as a 5 seed is kind of scary. That is a very strong 5 seed in my opinion. And that would suck for Richmond. And Richmond, they're making it into the tourney because I'm saying that they kind of got a bid steal, and then Dayton out of the A10 got an at-large bid here. So we got a 2-bid A10 conference here in this one. And Richmond Spiders, they can pull off an upset. They did it not too long ago whenever they were in the tournament. They can 100% pull off upsets, and it was a 12 seed that they did it last time. So definitely look out for that. But I think Duke is a very strong 5 seed. I think they'll probably get up to a 4 or at most maybe a 3 by the end of the season, by Selection Sunday. But I feel like they're going to be a 4 or a 5 come Selection Sunday. Right now I have them as a 5. Alabama is our 4 seed. They did just take a loss to Auburn, but before that they were a very hot team. You could argue maybe Alabama should be the 5. Duke should be the 4. You know, it really wouldn't make too much difference to me. I would be fine if you wanted to say that. But I have Alabama still as my 4 seed right now in this region. They'd be going up against Stanford, a very strong, very, very strong 13 seed. I like the Stanford team a lot. As you guys probably found out from my last Bracketology predictions, where I filled it out, I think I had Stanford going on a big Cinderella run. But yeah, that would be a fun matchup. I think Stanford is a dangerous 13 seed. And yeah, next up we got 6-seeded Utah State. I think my highest seeded, tied with San Diego State, as you'll see, is my other 6 seed over there. My highest seeded Mountain West teams. Yeah, Utah State's playing very good basketball right now. If you wanted to say they were maybe a 7 seed, I'd be fine with that. Maybe switch them with New Mexico, who I have down there as a 7 seed. But yeah, Utah State playing good basketball right now. 11 seed, we got either Mississippi State or the Providence Friars making it in. That big win over Creighton actually got them into this Bracketology, and they are one of my last teams in. So they need to keep it up, get another win. I want to see them in the tournament. I like the Friars a lot. I love watching Big East basketball. If you know me, you know I'm a WVU fan. I like watching Big 12 basketball, but I love watching Big East basketball, and I like Providence a lot. That's why I have a Providence shirt. I want to see them in the tournament. I'm a big Devin Carter fan, and I think that they would beat Mississippi State and Utah State. You know, maybe a little sneak peek into my predictions that are going to be in my next video. Probably going to have that upset. I like this Providence team a lot. I think that they could get as high as, you know, they're going to be a dangerous low seed. That's all I'm going to say. They're going to be a dangerous low seed. 3-seeded, we got Iowa State, the Cyclones. I like this team a lot. They have some hoopers on their team. Their offense is very fun. And yeah, look out for the Cyclones this year. Quinnipiac. They are actually a very strong 14 seed. They just play in not that great of a conference. And that's kind of why they can't be higher, because they do have a pretty good record. You know, if they keep it up, you know, if they win out, let's say, they can maybe sneak to a 13 seed, but they just don't play in that great of a conference, so it's hard to keep them higher than a 14 seed right now, but a very, very sneaky one. I mean, they're a good team. How they will do against a team like Iowa State, probably not that great, but, you know, anything's possible come March Madness. You know, you get that March magic going. You never know. New Mexico, 7 seed. Yeah, New Mexico, very good. Another Mountain West team. I like them a lot. They took that one home loss to Boise. I thought that they were going to go undefeated in the pit this year, especially after the way they did San Diego State, tore them up in the pit. I was like, nobody's beating them in the pit this year, but Boise did it. I don't know if they'll lose again in the pit, but yeah, New Mexico, they got some great, great guards. This team's built to go far in March as a sleeper. Look out for New Mexico. 10, we do have Utah. Utah making it in. They're just in a triple overtime battle with Arizona. Arizona was able to beat them, but Utah beat them earlier in the year as well. So Utah is comfortably my second best team in the Pac-12 and my second. I actually do have 3 Pac-12 teams in. As we'll get to the third one here in our last region. But yeah, Utah, my second Pac-12 team here as the 10 seed. We got Marquette as our 2 seed. And yeah, Marquette turning it up again, man. They had a very good start to the year. They went down to the wire with Purdue. And great non-con. Got in the Big East play, you know, it got a little dicey. It's tough to play in conference, especially on the road. But they're turning it up. They're building a little win streak here. I think they're back up to a 2 seed for me. Next up, we got Charleston coming out of their league. You know, there's a couple of really good teams in Charleston's conference right now, where Charleston actually isn't the top team in their league. But I think a little bit of a bid steal prediction here for me, as the College of Charleston makes their second tournament in a row, but this time as a 15 seed, a sneaky 15 seed. In our last region, we do have the West region. It's going to be in Los Angeles. And sadly, North Carolina has to go all the way across the country for their first games. I mean, they're the last one seed. They get the sucky pick of the litter there because Houston's taking Dallas, Purdue's taking Detroit, and UConn's going to take Boston. So, it comes down to North Carolina having to go all the way across the country. Sucks for them. But they're still a 1 seed, so it doesn't suck too bad. I like this North Carolina team. I'm a big Harrison Ingram guy. I think I love hustle players like that. I mentioned Lance Jones. I was like raving about him for a minute. I like Harrison Ingram a lot too. And Armando Bacot's starting to turn up. I feel like he could really turn up in the NCAA tournament for sure. UNC, look out for him. They are a great team. RJ Davis, of course, too. Gotta mention his name real quick. Eastern Washington coming in here as a 16 seed, getting themselves a bid to the tourney. Our 8-9 matchup is Texas versus Nebraska. I feel like this is a very solid team. Old Big 12 battle right here would be fun to watch. I feel like this is a solid matchup. Teams that have been somewhat inconsistent this year, but definitely you feel like they deserve spots into the tournament here. So a good 8-9 matchup there that I would love to watch go down. 5 seed St. Mary's. This is probably one that I might get the biggest backlash on from you guys on. And I'm way higher on St. Mary's than a lot of people. I see, other bracketologists have them as like a 9-10 seed, in that range. So I'm pretty significantly higher on St. Mary's. They're still undefeated in the West Coast Conference. Like, come on. Yes, they didn't have that great of a start, but they are playing fantastic ball right now. They just got a big time win in the Kennel, and I got St. Mary's up here as a 5 seed. I mean, I get it. They don't have too many quad 1 wins. They're not going to have very many more quad 1 opportunities. I get it. If you guys want to tell me that they deserve a 7 seed, I would compromise with you guys on that. I think I could go down to 7 on St. Mary's, and maybe they should. Maybe they do deserve to be down as a 7, but I put them as a 5, so I'm going to keep them as a 5. Come on, how about them Gales? Next up, we got Grand Canyon, which this 5-12 matchup would be amazing. Come on, St. Mary's, Grand Canyon. Who does not want to see that matchup? That would be amazing. Amazing. I told you guys my 12 seeds, my 13 seeds were very strong, and Grand Canyon might be the strongest one of them all. Baylor coming in here as a 4 seed. They're playing really good lately here on a nice little win streak. Scott Drew is just a beast of a coach. He's got some hoopers on that team this year, and look out for Baylor, man. UC Irvine getting the bid here as a 13 seed out of their league. San Diego State coming out of the Mountain West. They are our 5th Mountain West team to make it, and then we got Nevada in the our first team out right now. So possible 6 bid Mountain West this year, guys. Crazy. 11 seed, we got Washington State, our 3rd Pac-12 team, or Texas A&M. I feel like Texas A&M did enough in the non-con to be able to warrant a last team in spot here as one of the 11 seeds going to play in the first 4 games. Illinois as their 3 seed. I like this Illinois team a lot. I think they have a great non-con. I think they have played pretty well in the Big Ten so far, and I could see them maybe as a 4 seed. They're probably my last 3 seed. My 4th 3 seed right now. But I got Illinois here as a 3. 14th seed, we got Louisiana Tech coming out of their league there. Texas Tech as our 7 seed. It's crazy how Texas Tech, maybe just a week or 2 ago, they were probably considered like maybe a possible 2 seed. Now they're all the way down here as a 7. So very rangy for Texas Tech. I feel like teams that don't play a strong non-con, it's very easy for them to float up and down depending on how their week goes, especially in the Big 12. Them, like TCU, Oklahoma, you get it. 10 seed, we got Seton Hall. Seton Hall, a team that's been playing very, very good in Big East play, and, kind of started to fall off a little bit, but they're still a great team. Well coached, Shaheen Holloway. They have a stud point guard on their team as well. 10 seed is great for them right now. That Seton Hall Texas Tech matchup would maybe be my favorite first round matchup in this entire bracket. That would be amazing. Tennessee is our 2 seed in this region, kind of talked about earlier. Consider them for a 1 seed in this region over North Carolina, but North Carolina does have the head-to-head over them, and that, like I said, it doesn't really mean much in a bracketology head-to-heads, but when it's that close, I feel like it should. So yeah, Tennessee here is a 2 seed, and they're going against High Point, making it into the tourney here this year. So that is going to do it. Our first teams out, I think, what did I say, 7 teams out. We do have Nevada, Ole Miss, St. John's, Memphis, Colorado, Gonzaga, Wake Forest, all teams that are very close in consideration to making it into the bracket and making it to March Madness, the big dance here. So yeah, guys, let me know how often you guys want me to update it. I mean, we are in February now, so if you guys want an updated weekly bracketology, that is something that I could definitely do here for you guys. So let me know. Coming out here, this video will come out on Friday. I'm recording it here Thursday night, so we will have I will fill out this bracket, and that should be uploaded here on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, probably earlier Sunday. It'll be up. So yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Subscribe for more college basketball content, and thank you so much for watching.